My name is Mark Coburn, and I'm known as Indy Cyclist. I've already done a fundraiser for local Yes campaigns. I raised £14,000. I'm doing another one next week where I'm cycling 500 miles around Scotland in 5 days. I'm here in Greater Maryhill Foodbank, and the reason why I'm here is because I made a decision that if I cleared my target, then any extra money that would be coming into the fundraiser that I'm doing would go to Julie's Foodbank.
Yep.
So it's quite an eye-opener actually being in here and hearing some of the stories that are being told. We're basically at the sharp end of society here, and this is pretty much the neglected part. And I think it's also, I'm going to say it's not just a humanitarian thing. It's also it's a need that I feel to actually do something about this. If I can help in any way, then whatever I can contribute, then that would be great. I have no idea. It really depends. Basically, if I clear this fundraiser, if I clear the target, then definitely the money's coming here. So, which is something I feel proud and a bit ashamed of it as well, because of the fact that we have food banks. We don't need them, or we do need them, but we shouldn't have them, so to speak. Julie.
My name is Julie Webster. I'm a community activist in Greater Maryhill, and I'm the volunteer coordinator for Greater Maryhill Foodbank. My role is to coordinate all aspects of the food bank: distribution, sorting, fundraising, PR, Twitter, everything connected to the successful running of a food bank. So that is what my role is. I do other things in the community as well. I'm just very much for empowering people in my community to stand up and be counted within their community. I've worked in social work 20 years with lots of different vulnerable groups. And I've got to say that the past 18 months of the food bank has been the most emotive for me in the whole time that I've been working. I'd like to think I'm quite open-minded with what's going on in this country at the moment, and this city as well, but what I've had to see the 18 months has been horrendous and probably scarring for the rest of my life, I would say. It's hard to try and pick out things. I'll tell you a couple of stories that probably will remain in my memory for the rest of my life. The first one was about a lady who came in round about August time last year to the food bank down at Central Halls, and I'm really scared of mice. I hate mice, and I could hear a squeaking, and I thought there was a mouse in the room, so I was getting a bit frantic about that, and I'm looking about for this mouse, and I realised that it was actually somebody's shoes, and the girl was very embarrassed. She went, "I'm sorry, I've got a hole in my shoe," and when she lifted her foot, there was no sole on the bottom of her shoe, so she'd been walking through the rain with this boot with a massive hole about that size in her boot. And I'm looking at her feet and I'm looking at my feet, and I'm knowing right away that she's the same size of shoe as me, and I've got quite a new pair of boots on. So I took my boots off and gave her them, and went home in a taxi in my bare feet. And after it, people came to me and said, "Why did you do that?" And I said, "Because I've got 12 pair of boots in my wardrobe, she's got none." And she came back a few weeks later to tell me that she'd got a job and that she was on the up and rising, if you like. And she said, "Do you know I was going for a job interview the day I came to the food bank, Julie?" She went, "And they boots were a luck for me, you giving me those boots off your feet." So that was the first kind of harrowing thing that I'd seen. The second thing was we're up in Maryhill stables, and there was a couple of a family of asylum seekers who recently came to Glasgow, and they had basically, they came here, they had been put in a high-rise flat in the middle of Maryhill and showed where the bus stop was, and that was it, and they didn't know anything else. And they just walked past Maryhill stables and seen people gathered round and came in. So I got them sorted out with food and stuff, and that made me distraught, because I thought to myself, these people are already barriered by the time they get to this country, but by the time you know, when they get here, surely we should be treating them better than just putting them in a house, showing them the bus stop and leaving them. So that was quite bad for me, and probably the most harrowing for me was just recently. It was the end of May, and it was the bank holiday weekend, and my volunteers had just left for the day, and I was just about to lock up, and I got a phone call from a housing association referring a family who hadn't eaten since Friday. This was now Tuesday, and the mother was in poor health. They could tell me that, and they were very worried about them. Could you give them a food parcel? I said, I'd certainly send them over. And they came over and they were kind of hovering about the door. So I went out and I went, hi, come on in. And they were mortified, they didn't want to be here. So that was very clear to see that. So while the girl was round about this section getting some food, our mother was over here. I wasn't quite sure what she was doing, and I could see her going through the beans and looking and putting them down. At first I was thinking maybe she's looking at the name, the brand name, and then I turned away for a split second. When I turned back round, she pulled the ring pull off the tin and she was eating the beans with her fingers. And I think for that split second, my whole faith and belief in humanity had just gone by that point. Because I just thought to myself, how did we get to this when we've got people in the 21st century in one of the richest countries in the world doing this? This can't be right. So, you know, my daughter was mortified. She went, Mum, you can't do that. So I didn't make a big song and dance about it. I just went into the kitchen, got her a spoon, and I said, get a wee seat and I'll get you a wee cup of tea. And she had her beans and whatever. And I was in that toilet for 20 minutes when they left crying. I was so upset because I thought I never expected to see that extremity of hunger amongst people that live 200, 300 yards away from here. And you know, she'd explained to me that there'd been problems with her benefits, and because of the bank holiday, the benefits hadn't been in time, so she was left with no money from Friday to Tuesday. And I said to her, now come back, if you need more, don't ever be hungry. There's my mobile number, phone me anytime, I'll come here and open up and give you food. And she said, no, Julia, my benefits will be sorted out. I said, but if they aren't sorted out, come back. And she did come back, and she came back with 3 bags of shopping to replace what she'd taken. And she just came in, put them down there and went out. Didn't say what they were for, I just wanted to come in, put them down and leave. And that was her giving back, and I just thought to myself, if that's not enough reason for us to take a look at how our country's governed and ran, then I don't know what else is. I mean, I don't know what else we need to see. You know, I looked at the stats last week, and off the top of my head, I think it was 49 families, which consisted of 164 people. 87 of those were children under 17. So we've got 87 children in Greater Maryhill in 2 hours using a food bank. You know, we bury our head in the sand, we kid on it's not happening, it's only going to get worse. You know, this is a massive welfare reform. This is not a small change in benefits. This is your welfare reform in regards to, you know, your sanctions coming in, your bedroom tax, your universal credits, all of these 3 things in a very, very short period of time. When we started the food bank up, 2 of the things that I was very specific on, that I was basically forcing to happen, was the choice aspect, was about let's not spoon-feed people like we've done in the past, let's give them choice, let's empower them to choose. And from that, we're the first food bank in Scotland that allows people to choose their food. So when they come in here, or if they come into distribution elsewhere, they choose the food they want. And I mean, that might sound like a very small choice, but from that you empower bigger choices. And you encourage people, and that's what people need. They need encouragement, they don't need scrutinised, they don't need prejudice against them, they don't need discriminated against, they don't need belittled. They need to be encouraged and supported to make empowered choices. That's what they need, and that's what I hope we do. The other thing I was very clear on was the fact that we didn't exclude anybody from this service, that we were going to be a very multicultural, non-prejudiced organisation where people from all walks of life could volunteer. And I have done that. I have currently got 3 asylum seekers working with me just now, and a few guys who are ex-offenders as well. And it's about bringing them out, rehabilitating them, getting them back as employable again. And they're the best people to do this job because they've been at the other end of sanction, they've been at Cardogan Street, they've done the going to the benefit agency and feel demoralised, You know, they've not had electricity put, they've been on emergency credit in their electricity, they've had to go without a meal. These are the best people to run this service. So that's what we're kind of about. I've just branched out. I got a phone call a few weeks ago from a youth worker from Barlornock. They secured £40,000 from the lottery to start a food bank. So they headhunted me through my documentary, and I was up there yesterday doing my first prepping for opening a food bank in Barlornock. So that's going to be probably the largest percentage of North Glasgow covered by food banks now, and what we're going to do is partnership working. So I'm going to work between Maryhill and Barlornock and bring all those communities together. So North Glasgow will be working as a whole independent food bank. So that's a progression as well. I
was going to ask you, do you know how many families are using? Do you have any idea of the stats of these families that are using food
What
banks?
do you mean, a week or on since we opened? Oh, it's definitely got to be well into the high hundreds. I mean, in Maryhill.
Just in Maryhill?
Just in this one. I mean, certainly we cover from Acre down to Woodside, and we come along up through Postle Park, Milton, Cadder, Parkhouse, Lamhill, Summerston, Acre. Right. So we're a big expansive. It's a big area, but there's lots of areas in this community that we're still finding hard to get into and to have people accessing the service. I mean, we have people walking from Shettleston because they hear about Maryhill Food Bank and they walk from Shettleston to Maryhill for food. Now,
how far is that?
That's far.
7-8 miles?
Now,
that's the other side of town, we're out in the East End.
You wonder, I remember them turning up one time and somebody says to me, they can't get food, they don't live in Maryhill. I said, do you think for 1 minute that someone has walked with 2 toddlers from Shettleston to Maryhill and we're going to turn them away because they've not got the right postcode? No chance, that will never happen.
Does it work?
I always describe it to people in that we're in a big tank and we're all at the bottom. And when I was a wee girl, Naomi's age, growing up, you would have been helping your neighbour up. Come on, I'll give you a puddie, let's get you up here. And your granny next to you, hold on, I'll give you a wee puddie. Nobody can do that now because we're all survival of the fittest. It's all about me and which surrounds me, and that's the environmental factors that have caused that. You know, it was never like that when I was young. When I was young, you helped your neighbours, you helped your family, you helped your friends. You know, now people are so desperate and they have so little that they don't want to help the person next to them. I mean, I actually, believe it or not, have people fighting about who's in the queue before them at Food Bank because they're so desperate for food. You know, and I say the same to everybody. You know, any political party that was in power and caused what we're in just now, I would go gung-ho for. Doesn't matter who they are, right? People need to be accountable for the bad decisions they've made about this country and the bad decisions they've made about these people, right? We need to be making decisions about how our country runs, about how us, you know. But people in this city have got the right to have a say in how things are run. And the way it's been running now, the only thing that's, excuse me, cut this off. The only way it's running now is we've got frontline cuts every 2 minutes. We've got frontline cuts constantly. We've lost 2 schools in this community. We've lost a youth group, a youth club, and we've lost 3 day centres for people with learning disability. Those are frontline cuts. Those are frontline cuts. Those are cuts that are really affecting working class people's lives in this city. And the consultation process is a farce. You know, the decision's been made before you even sit down in the room with them. They're not interested in it. You know, and that's really sad. It's really sad to see that, because I would like to think that when you're paying into a country for all those years. Excuse me, I'm going to have to take this. Hello? Hi, it's okay. Uh-huh. Right, I'm in Chapel Street just now, so I can make a parcel up. How many's in the family? They want to come just now? Because I'm going to be here anyway, because I've got a meeting. That's fine. I'm in just now if you want to send them up. I don't really want them waiting until tomorrow, Jim. If they're hungry just now. Okay. Okay. 9 o'clock tonight. Just text me with the amount of people in the family and I'll let them take as much as they need. Okay, right, take care, bye bye, bye. That's a kind of real life scenario where there's a family being sanctioned and not told, and they went to the bank, there's no money. So they're coming up for a parcel.
Yeah.
And they don't tell you. You go to the bank and there's no money in, you know, and you end up with all these charges for the bank for your direct debits. You can't buy food, you can't put your electricity in. And it's, you know, it's disgusting. It's so bad. And
what are the sanctions for?
The sanctions vary. I mean, certainly our biggest sanction is non-compliance, which is basically maybe no turning up to Cadogan Street for a medical, you know, Lourdes. You know it's Lourdes, don't you?
Excuse me, what street?
Cadogan Street is where you go for your medical. So you go in there with really quite a serious disability, and it's like Lourdes, you come out and you're cured. So, I mean, you have to be literally non-functioning, or they've got a job for you, you know? Sorry. Hello, Jim. Two people in a family? Right, that's fine. That's fine, okay, I'll sort them out with food. Okay, right, take care, bye-bye, bye. That's a two-family, that one. So sanctions can be non-compliance, not going to Cadogan Street for your medical. It can be for turning up late for your appointment. It can be for being cheeky. It can be for not understanding how to do a form. So if you're looking at a form, you can't fill it in right and you leave a bit out, you're sanctioned. It can be if you can't get internet access because there's a queue 5 mile long in the library, everybody trying to fill in benefit forms. It's no one in time, you're sanctioned. So these are all sanctions, reasons for people being sanctioned.
And at what level is this policy made? Is it UK level?
It's Westminster. Well, Social Security is Westminster, isn't it?
Welfare State's Westminster, yes.
Yeah, you know, so hopefully, you know, that will change. I'm hoping that will change.
And does the Glasgow policy have any, can they mitigate that at all?
That is a set policy.
It's almost as if you're at the bottom level, isn't it?
You are, and it makes you feel so your self-worth is nothing.
Exactly.
You know, and
your self-respect, your dignity, and everything else is...
You leave it all at the door. I mean, I always believe that if you treat people like rats, they'll live like rats. See if you give people enough money to live on, see if you give them good social housing, if you give them good provision of services, that's what human beings are looking for. They're looking for a sense of belonging, being able to eat enough food to keep them functioning, and a house that's livable, that you know, I always say to my children, you know, this is the future that I can promise you is no money for food, damp housing, no youth provision, and they're going to shut your school down. That's what we are promising the youth of this day, and we're still expecting as a country for these children to grow up socialised and stable. That's never going to happen with the society we're living in just now. Young people are not going to aspire to their best because they've got nothing to look to. I think that the future is very bleak for our young people. 50 years ago I watched my dad go through a political battle to keep the shipyards opened, and it was something that's probably made me what I am today. Watching him night after night, restless night, wondering what he's walking into. One of his workers hung herself because he was on the redundancy. He was on the redundancy list, and sadly a few days later his name had been taken off and he didn't know. So that's probably what's made me what I am. I probably wasn't the most sympathetic of people before that, but I went round the whole of Scotland on a bus with my dad and the campaigners to keep the yards opened, and my dad managed to do it obviously. And now he's ready to retire in December. And you know, people say to me, how can you possibly be for Scottish independence, Julie, when you're possibly going to see your dad's work dismantled? Well, you know what? Things come to an end. That's what life's like. You know, you need to accept these things, but we're going to get rid of Trident, and we're going to have frontline services that are going to be fit for purpose. We're going to have people being looked after better, in my opinion, and we're going to have this. We won't have this. This won't exist.
That's what I was meaning earlier on. So it's just the idea of living in a society where we don't need to have food banks. You're talking of things coming to an end. I mean, I'm from Motherwell and we eat the steelworks.
That's right.
There's nothing left. There's nothing there at all. My family were heavily involved in the steel the steelworks industry. My dad was in it, my Green was in it, my sister's ex-boyfriend still in. I mean, well, he's still in Dale Steelworks, which is the only thing left out that way. And there's some, I mean, but the whole steelwork business is just shrunk down to about 100 workers in the whole of Lanarkshire, whereas it used to serve Lanarkshire itself.
Yeah, I mean, people say to me, do you think Scotland's a good country? No, I don't believe Scotland's a good country, but I think it's potential to be one.
Yeah.
With the people in this country making the decisions about how we live. And you know, I don't have any hatred towards any other England, Ireland. I don't have any hatred towards anybody. What my theory is that let the Scottish people decide about Scotland. Let them decide how we move forward with it. You know, we've tried everything else and it's no worked. And look at the state of affairs we're in now because we've not took the chance. You know, and I say to my daughters all the time, especially this youngest one, who wears her little yes badge with great pride. And I say to her, you know, if we don't get it this time, Naomi, which I hope we do, but if we don't get it this time, you promise me you'll fight for it for next time when I'm not here. I promise you, I give you my word, Mum, that's a pinky promise. And that's something that I hope she remembers.
Pinky promise.
It's pinky promise that she'll do that for me. I mean, she's out canvassing with me past couple of weeks, and she's saying to me, she's chatting the doors, brass and brazen as you like. I heard about the referendum, and these big guys are looking at an 8-year-old. Oh really, aye, what about it? Do you want to stay 20 stores up for the rest of your life? The guy's like, no. Well, you will if you don't vote yes.
You've got to appreciate it. Kids' simplicity is
and I'm like,
brilliant.
okay, no mate, and he went, okay, where do I sign for a postal vote? So it's about things like that when you think about it. I mean,
Straight through.
She'll go right in.
It's the best canvassing technique I think
She went into school the other day before the schools broke up, and she had her yes badge on. And tried to get hold of her bloody yes badge, it was terrible. But we got one, and I had it in my jacket. She took it off me, she put it in her denim jacket. So she just happened to put this denim jacket on at school this morning, and she was asked to take the badge off.
Oh God.
And she says she wasn't taking off. I'm not taking off.
Good.
And that you need to take off. I'm not taking this badge off. That's part of what I am, and I'm not doing it. And I thought, good. And by the way, I don't sit them down, right, there's 5 of them, and say, right, this is what you have to be, this is what you have to believe in. What I tell them is their choice. This is, would you want this life for you and your children in the future, or do you want this life? You make that choice, because my daughter's voting for the first time. But, I mean, what can I say about Mark? You know, I can't thank him enough for...
I haven't done anything yet, Joey.
I know you haven't, but the pressure is on you to do things.
It's definitely on me to do things.
You know,
I just hope that...
When are you going, Mark? When's it start?
Right, it starts next Thursday. I'm doing 100 miles next Thursday. I'm going to do a shift for work. I'm a postman, and then I'm going to do 100 miles. And then I'm going to go back to my house. I'm going to eat, I'm going to sleep. And then it's the same on the Friday. The first route is on Thursday. I'm going to go from here to Galashiels and then to Edinburgh, so that's 100 miles. Get the train back. And then the second day, well, each day is about 100 miles. Then the second day is from here through Fife up to Forfar, and then from Forfar through Aberdeen to Huntly, and then from Huntly through Inverness to Fort Loyne, and Fort Loyne back down. So that's me covering my 10 bases, which are, I'll wait till that noise passes. Hoyt, Edinburgh Southern, Edinburgh East, Rosyth, Burnt Island, Cardenden, Aberdeen, Clydebank, Renfrew and Proven. That's the 10 yes groups. This is basically, I mean, the fundraiser is so that they can get campaign bases, but as I've said before, as I said at the start of this, anything that goes over goes to Julie's cause. The threshold is £5,350. Okay. If we break it, which I really want to do, and I'm going to just everybody donate to this. Everybody just keep pushing it, including you guys here. So just keep pushing it, because you're obviously sitting in the kind of the external reason as well.
I think that's how it's important for myself and Mark to meet, so that we could, you know, work collectively in partnership. But we both have the ethos of eliminating poverty for people. That's the main reason for the partnership working. And that's what I'm hoping to push on Twitter as well, is to say to people, you know, donations of any sort, food, money, sponsorship, whatever people are going to donate is so greatly appreciated. Not only by the volunteers, but obviously by the service users that get the food.
One of the things I'm going to do actually, providing I do break the target, say if I break the target, however, you know, if I break the target before it's due to actually, obviously before the time's up, I'm going to be asking everybody, and what I mean by that is even undecided voters and no voters that I know, I'm going to say to them personally, look, I've broken my target for the Yes campaign, this excess money is now going to a food bank, so you're now obliged, party politics or if you like, independence aside, this is now going into a food bank, so you're going to have to get moving on it.
And I
know that people in my family, I'm just going to pressurise them into actually say, right, well, come on, give me 50 rand, come on.
But I think that's good to keep it equal based as well, and not to have it so political. It's about humanity. Humanity is the first and foremost of anything.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's what it's about, getting back to basics. You know, anybody from any walk of life, of any political party that wants to help with a food bank, you know, I say, yeah, of course. Yeah. I'm not going to say to somebody, you can't donate because I don't agree with your party politics. I'm going to say to people, you know, let's get donating and make sure that, I mean, these shelves are very full today because I've just restocked them with money that gift vouchers I got. But I mean, I've seen days where these shelves have been empty.
Yeah.
Not so much that side, more that side. And we give nappies and baby products as well. And these are the things that are dead costly. See things like a packet of diapers, £10. God's sake, they were £5 when he was born, and that was only 6 years ago. The cost of living's went up so much. Hiya. How you doing? Great, no bother. That's fine, that's no bother. And there's two of you, yeah? Great, right, let's get some bags. And the thing is, you can sit here and you can give out food and you can keep your mouth shut and you can do nothing, but that's doing that
cause noise.
But I want people to know what's actually going on here. I want them to know that, you know, there's people behind the scenes working hard to try and eliminate what we can do. We've all got the power to change so much. We need to rely on the people that we've elected to try and make better changes, bigger changes.
Yeah.
What to do is just pass it over to us and we'll empower ourselves.
You see, this is the thing, Julie, because I didn't choose to get involved in the independence debate or politics, but you somehow feel as if you get dragged into it. Because I work for Royal Mail, I'm a postman. Right. My job and pension are privatised by folk I didn't even like.
No.
Do you know what I mean? So you don't have a choice.
Yeah, government didn't elect either.
Well, exactly, but it's the same. But none of us were consulted on whether we wanted to be.
It's about treating people properly. It's about giving good. It's about giving good information about changes, and it's about community empowerment of people's choice.
Joey.
We need to do something for
Yes.
this generation.
And the previous.
Thank you so much.
No, listen, it's